folks, welcome back to My Kitten Reads. I'm Eleanor and this is my July reading wrap up. July, I knew it wasn't going to be great given that I was stressed all month. I read 9 books, which is not quite enough that I need to be, but you know, is nearly a month's worth essentially of my goal. So it wasn't, at least I didn't get too further behind. So what did I read? More Gentlemanlike by Melissa Ann, which was a new to me Pride and Prejudice variation. This one, Darcy and Elizabeth get together earlier than in the novel, so essentially at Pemberley before anyone else reconciles, before Lydia runs away, and so they start their life together, but everyone else has to sort of figure out how to fit in around them. Then I reread, and it's a bit of a comfort read, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Still teared up at Beth's death. Always do, will always do. But, you know, comfort read. I also reread Cards on the Table, but this time via audio by Agatha Christie, which is one of the Poirot novels that I'm quite fond of. This is the one where a Mr. Shayatana invites Poirot to dinner, and after a conversation about his collection of crime objects, which are actually the murderers who got away with it themselves. And so the dinner is 4 detectives. So Poirot, there's a government agent, there's a police inspector, and there is Mrs. Oliver, the crime writer, who I adore, especially in the TV version because she's played by forgotten the name. It's just flown straight out of my head. The woman who plays Madame Hooch in Harry Potter, very famous actress who's I can see, but my name's gone. Anyway, and there's also 4 other people, and they go off to play bridge, and Mr. Shayatana is murdered, and it's quite obvious that because they were in separate rooms, it's the 4 people who were the murderers of his collection, and the detectives have to figure out who actually was a murderer and who did the deed. So I then read Pride and Prejudice and Plentitude by Andrea Daniels. This is another Pride and Prejudice variation, a new author to me. And this one, I ended up being not particularly fond of it, but the plot is sort of interesting in that the Prince Regent becomes ill near Longbourn and has to convalesce there. And as thank you for their hospitality, various things get put in train which improve the circumstances of the Bennets, which then changes the way they interact with people. Then I finished rereading Chaos Choreography by Seanan McGuire, which is the 5th book in the Encrypted series. This one, Verity has been invited back to an all-star season of her dance reality show. But as it turns out, there's a snake cult trying to raise a snake god, and people are dying. Fun. Then I read on audio The 5, The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Hallie Rubenhall. I've listened to Hallie's audiobooks before about her history work. She does a very good job, and in this one, essentially it's looking at the 5 women and what we actually can find out from the historical sources about their lives and debunking certain myths. Like, for example, the very ingrained myth that Jack the Ripper was killing prostitutes, while they were all very poor women, while they all had broken marriages, that kind of thing, and while they were all sort of transient women at the time they were killed, only probably 2 of them actually ever worked as prostitutes, as far as the evidence says. One was, like the last one was Mary Jane, I want to say, was definitely some sort of prostitute. And Elizabeth, who was the Swedish girl, she did at certain points either work as a prostitute or was the mistress of certain people, rich people, employers, but she didn't intend to be that way. It's just a very sad set of circumstances that led to her, and she tried to get out of said profession multiple times as well. But yes, and then after that, because I was listening to a lot of audio because of, you know, being really busy at work and needing to focus and therefore needing to block everyone out, I re-listened to the audio book The Scandalous Lady W, also by Hallie Rubenhold. This is the biography she wrote of Lady Worsley, who had a fairly scandalous life in the 18th century, in that she her husband was approving of her affair with another man because he was a bit of a voyeur, but then she eloped with said other man, and it was one of the most scandalous divorce trials in history, in early, like in 18th century England, which did not go the way. Well, it wasn't even a divorce trial as such. It was the criminal conversation case against the lover that did not exactly go the way it was expected. Then I read Uncanny issue 67, edited by Michael Damon Thomas. This had the Malay Illusion by Sarah Pinsker in it, which was one on the Hugo list. I'm just trying to remember. I remember enjoying the story. I'm just trying to remember what it was actually about. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I did very much enjoy it. But there wasn't much else in that particular issue. It was all well written, of course, but nothing else really grabbed my attention. But The Malay Illusion by Sarah Pinsker was definitely worth a read. Why can't I remember what it was about? It was like only a few days ago that I read it. I don't know. Anyway, and then the final thing I read, which is the only thing that actually met any of my other goals for the year, which was queer characters, was The Summer War by Naomi Novik, which was the last novella I needed to read for the Hugos, which I tossed off on the last day of July. It was quite good. I actually really enjoyed it. It was about the Fae and about siblinghood, and what it actually means to be loyal and to be there for your siblings, even if they're not always your favourite people in the world. So yeah, that was a really good way to end the month. So that was my reading month in July. Hopefully things will calm down a bit more and I can be a bit better this month. I'm also going to this week try and get through the graphic novel shortlist, because I need to do it this week because voting closes on Saturday. But yes, very much so. That's my plans for this week. But that was my reading month. And I will talk to you all really soon. Bye.